Hello, I'm Hannah, and this is Hannah's Books. This evening will be the last night of Hanukkah. My family will be lighting all 8 candles on our Hanukkah tonight, and right now I will put the final tasseled bookmark in my Bookakia. For this last video for my Bookaka celebration, I'm going to do the BookTube Reflections tag, which seems like a nice way to start wrapping up our years here. So let's get started. Question 1. Did you reach any bookish goals? As far as the number of books read for a Goodreads challenge, I think I can say I really didn't have any goal. Technically, I did establish a Goodreads challenge number, but I'm afraid I've just never really gotten into the habit of participating on Goodreads, and in fact didn't even list what books I read after maybe early March. A lot of things changed in early March. I did not establish a challenging goal for the number of books to read in 2020, just guessed at the number I would read and then subtracted a few. I didn't make any investment in trying to keep track of whether I was meeting my goal. I've been thinking a bit over the past few weeks about my reluctance or lack of interest in the idea of that kind of challenge, and I might make a video on it at the end of the year. Another goal I had, in which I roped some of you into adding to your goals, is to read all the novels of Toni Morrison. I actually did not meet that goal. What initially inspired that plan was a conversation between one of my local friends and me, where we decided to read one Morrison novel per month and meet to discuss it. The first meetings were wonderful, and then the pandemic closed our opportunities to get together in person for conversations, and it also affected our reading habits, albeit in different ways. My friend suggested we put the project on hold, to which I agreed. Still, I thought I would continue reading the books with my fellow booktubers who had agreed to read with me. I thought I would read the books this year with BookTube and then go through them again with my local friend when the world started to reopen a bit. I read up through Beloved, and 3 of those early books were actually rereads, but then I crashed. I did not stop reading, but I basically stopped being able to read fiction. Morrison is still there on my shelves, and I promised to finish her whole body of work at some point, sometime soon, but it didn't happen in 2020. As far as BookTube goals, my main goal was to continue making videos regularly for a whole year, which I celebrated doing in early September. I say making videos regularly, and I only mean that I put up 2 or 3 videos most weeks. And while I sometimes put up less than that, I didn't have any huge gaps. My sense of pride in myself for actually sitting in front of the camera and then being brave enough to share the results with folks all over the world has been substantial. I've learned quite a few skills about ways to work through shyness, as well as just some techie kinds of skills. And while it was not a goal at the start of the year, as my subscriber count started to climb closer to 1,000, I started looking forward to that and was thrilled when I hit it. Thank you all for joining me, not so much because of that number, but because I've loved getting to make all these readerly friends all over the world. The next prompt is to shout out a bookish person or people you felt really supported by. First, I should mention that the bookish people who support me on a daily basis are my son and my spouse, both of whom have talked with me about what we were reading and have listened to me go on and on about the wonders of BookTube, and also guest starred on my channel a few times. And second, I want to thank some booktubers. Many of you have inspired me to read particular books or taught me about whole genres I was all but unaware of, or brought me into the bookish world in some other new way. I especially want to call out one individual and then one group that went far beyond just inspiring me and becoming my friend. Steve Donahue invites his viewers to try out writing book reviews for Open Letters Review, and he's willing to help people through the process. I absolutely loved the experience I have had so far and plan to continue writing formal book reviews in the future, something I may talk about on this channel either in very early 2021 or possibly the end of 2020. Open Letters Review is a fantastic way to start, and if you're interested, I definitely encourage you to contact Steve. His support through the process is amazing. The group I want to thank is made up of people that I've long known were incredibly supportive booktubers and true friends here, but then they went far beyond. They got together and read my book, Unspeakable, and have been sharing their thoughts and questions with me. Given that the book is not new and that it's a book filled with endnotes to academic debates and was published by a university press, I was stunned when they announced they were reading it. I was so honored and so surprised. These readers and friends are Sean the Book Maniac, Alba at Seriella, Brian at Bookish, Roz at Scallydandling About the Books, and Justin at Ghost Reader. Thank you all. The third question, what's been your favorite video you've uploaded? I'm really pleased with my behind the scenes at Hannah's Books video. I take you on a visual tour of my bookshelves and show you what's behind the curtain, so to speak, in a couple of different ways. I enjoyed making the kind of silly video, and I really loved the responses I've gotten too. I'll leave a link to the video down in the description box. Prompt number 4. Name a video that didn't do as well as you thought it would. I never have any clue what will do well and what won't. I do notice how many views videos receive, but I haven't yet spent any real time with all those statistics and charts in YouTube Studio. Actually, I will mention one. At some point I put up a video where I performed one of my favorite short stories, Eudora Welty's Why I Live at the P.O., and it quickly got a fair number of views and many very nice comments. Not too long afterwards, I recorded another short story, Flannery O'Connor's A Good Man is Hard to Find. The story is amazing, but it is not as much fun to listen to, I don't think. I wasn't shocked that the number of views for the video was lower. In addition, with the Welty story, the idea of me performing a reading like that was kind of novel, which wasn't true for the O'Connor. I'd already done it. Well, at some point I saw that the number of viewers for the O'Connor story had skyrocketed. Apparently, a couple of high school teachers, people who have written to me to explain to me, have shared my video with their students. How cool, and what a nice surprise. The 5th question, what did you really struggle with on your channel? After a bit more than 15 months on BookTube, I really am finally starting to feel more comfortable in front of the camera. I still have to over-prepare to keep from fainting or throwing up, but I definitely feel more at home. I think the biggest struggle I've had is keeping up with everyone else's content. I have a group of booktubers I love and want to follow closely, but I also am really excited to see all these other new booktubers, most of whom overlap with my interest in at least some ways. So right now I'm subscribed to too many channels. Too many in the sense that I can't keep up, and in fact can get a bit overwhelmed by how long a to-do list that can create. I think I really need to winnow the list a bit. Is there some way to have 2 separate subscription feeds, one to work through first, and then another to poke through as time allows? Number 6. What are some things you want to improve? I think my main goal for next year is to have a bit more planning and structure. I'm not committing to a rigid schedule of videos on particular days or anything, but I would like to have more idea what I plan to film next, or even possibly have a couple of videos filmed in advance. I film whatever I'm thinking about on a particular day, and post it soon after I edit the video and add captions, or occasionally the next morning. What topic I discuss is often pretty seat of the pants, a decision made the morning I film. Instead, I'd like to try sketching out a basic plan for what I plan to film about during a particular month. Some people choose a particular filming day and prepare 2 videos, maybe both of the things they want to post that week, for example. I might try that at some point, I think. The goal here would not be to be making better videos, as much as to make more time for reading and writing. And finally, question number 7. What do you want your viewers to know? I started my channel almost randomly, thinking it would be a laid-back way, with no pressure, to practice a skill I thought I needed for an online teaching job I was starting. When I made my first videos, filmed on my tiny little phone in front of my son's bookshelves, I really wasn't sure I would make more than a handful of videos. But almost immediately, the warmth of this community pulled me in. It gave me a much broader view of reading and bookishness than I had before, too. Thank you all for participating in the creation of what feels like a very special place. Well, we've reached the end of the Bookaka celebration. Although I've enjoyed making so many videos in a row, the price has been that I've done a little less reading and have fallen even further behind on responding to y'all's wonderful comments and missed a huge percentage of the huge number of December videos showing up in my subscription feed. So my plan is to take a week or so off now and do some catching up, perhaps especially on the reading part. After that, I'll be back for some more bookish conversation here on Hannah's Books. See you then.